In the beginning, Colleen and I developed 10 lessons. We developed 10 lesson plans, which took, again, that whole period of time from September to October, where we talked about what reading was and how we learned to read, and we specifically went through some of the strategies that we would be expecting the grade 1s to use, so that when the students came together, they had already knowledge of what paired reading looked like and how to help their child decode, how to help that student recognize sight words, so that they were very, very prepared when they came into the classroom. The grade 4-5 students, when they walked in the classroom, had a purpose. The grade 1 students had a purpose also. Their purpose was learning to read. And they stated that purpose really frequently, expecting that the grade 4-5s were going to be able to snap their fingers and they would learn to read. But the grade 4-5s did snap their fingers in that each time they walked into that classroom, they had a very well-prepared lesson, and they knew exactly what they were going to do. It was rehearsed, and it was planned, and it was clearly delivered, and they did an exceptional job. They did just as well as many teachers.
I use performance standards, so I read something to her about the performance standard, and then she tries to achieve that goal in there, and she usually does because she's a very good reader.
The boy is going to meet a bear, and they're going to pick berries together.
Okay.
Jam-berry. One berry, two berry, pick me a blueberry. Hackberry, shoeberry, and my canoeberry.
I think since I teach her and she understands it, that because I'm her friend, and the teachers are her friends, but we're more of her age, and so she understands it a bit more.
Hardly felt anything. Yuck. Then my mouth went numb.
This year I've seen a tremendous growth in my students from September until now. Many of my students have not only taken responsibility over their own reading and their own thinking while they're reading, they're actually talking about how much fun it is to think while they read. I will hear them saying, "Wow, it's really fun to infer." And it's nice to hear that. And also, it's really nice to see their confidence level go up from working with their buddies.
Performance standards, if I was a 1 and I wanted to become at least a 3, I could look on the sheet and it could say, you need to make these connections, you need to have inferences, and this is what you need to do. Then I could try to work on that, and then I'd be either a 2 or a 3.
With my buddy, because once I started marking Chantel with them, I could decide if we needed to still stay back and keep working on inferring, or if I had to just move on because she's perfect at inferring.
Performance standards have helped me work with Tasha because she used to be a 1 or a 2, but then I'd look at the sheet and then I'd say, well, why don't we work on inferring? Do you know how to infer? And then she'd say no, but I knew that her teacher had worked with it, and so I had to remind her because she just didn't care about the lesson, but now she infers really good.
They have also taken a huge amount of responsibility over their own learning. Oftentimes, even if I forget to generate criteria, they will remind me because they know that that is the best way to challenge themselves and to make sure that they're meeting expectations. All of my students are fluently reading at grade level. Some of them still need a bit of work, but they have made tremendous leaps and bounds in their thinking strategies. especially in inferring, which is one of the strategies we focused on this year. All of them on the classroom assessment that I gave at the end of the year were meeting or exceeding expectations in the area of inferring.
I like talking about the story with Justice, and he thinks I'm doing great at it too. I like the best about my buddy is that he really helps me on hard words and big words too. Yeah. But he helps me sound them out too. Even though they aren't really hard for me, he still helps me sound them out. He's very patient with me, and he shows me a lot of respect.
Great. The idea of finding the big idea and the main idea and the key details has transferred out of just reading nonfiction and into our science and socials. For example, the students no longer are so concerned about the letter grade they're getting. They're more concerned about the concepts that they're being tested on during the science tests and socials tests. They realize that it's not so much about even the concepts, but knowing how to find the concepts, how to find the main idea, and what the important things are to study. So we had one student, when she received quite a good mark on her science test, say to another teacher in the school, well, I just knew how to study smart. I looked at the bold words. I looked at the headings. I looked at the back to see what the big ideas were. And through that, I studied.
There's been a big change in our school culture. Our grade 4, 5s don't feel responsible for the behavior of the grade 1s, but they certainly are willing to give them advice and help them outside on the playground or inside. That whole role model has certainly been apparent wherever the children are, whether they're participating in buddy reading at the time or whether they're outside playing. It has helped tremendously in a sense of responsibility of self, because they feel better about themselves. When you have a success happening within a school, it changes the whole culture of the school. And this has certainly been a huge success story for us. The kids have been very, very excited about their own reading success and the success that they see in their buddy. But every single student in that classroom has had great academic success. I think a lot of it just is that they view themselves as learners because their grade 4 or 5 student coach views them as being very capable and a strong learner. And the grade 4 or 5s view themselves as strong learners. And they have had just a tremendous learning experience this year. And they have far, far exceeded academic expectations.
I also like my buddy because he isn't just a student. He isn't just like one of my students. Like a student, he's like just a friend, somebody you can count on, somebody you can play with, something like that.
Justice has turned into a super buddy, but at the end of the year, I know we'll be going really great as friends.
I've enjoyed buddy reading because I enjoy reading with my buddy and reading to her and her reading to me. And I think that she likes it too. And I have lots of fun doing it with her. And so we learn better when we read to someone or with someone. And yeah, I really enjoy reading with her.